Men are suffering very much in silence. They cannot complain. They cannot say, I'm suffering from fear or I'm in pain. This is very limited for men. And they are raised up to be strong. And they thought that strength is being not to talk, just be silent, just tolerate everything.
Hi, welcome panelists. Thank you so much for joining us. We, for the next 15-20 minutes, are going to be discussing, for me anyway, I think it's possibly one of the most vital areas of wellness at the moment. It impacts absolutely every part of our lives. And I think it absolutely impacts every single person on this planet. So we're going to explore this. Welcome to our speakers. To begin, could you please just introduce yourselves and what you're doing in the mental wellness space?
Thank you. My name is Khawla Hammad. I'm the founder and CEO of Takalam, which is the Arabic word for talk, and it's a mental health platform offering digital tools for overall well-being and teleconsultations, connections with counselors to talk about your mental health and improve your well-being overall. We work with several government entities and private sector companies, as well as the applications available for the community as well.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
Hello, hi, my name is Moustafa El-Nahas. I'm a consultant psychiatrist. I've been working like 20 years right now. I have some social media presence. I'm trying to simplify the complicated terms into very simple words to the people, to the public speaking and so on.
Okay, thank you. It's interesting. They're very different areas, but it's both about connecting with people directly, right, and making sure that they're aware of what's available to them. Khawla, apologies if I pronounced that wrong.
No, you got it. Correct.
I'm going to start with you. What are your thoughts on how mental and emotional health serve as kind of foundational pillars when it comes to overall wellness?
Absolutely crucial, and I'm sure like Dr. here will confirm that. It's really the core of everything, and for overall well-being and to be balanced emotionally and psychologically is the foundation for everything else. Unfortunately, in the region, mental health has been more of a taboo and a lot of stigmas around it, because when you mention mental health, people think, it's the extreme, of being mentally ill, which is not the case. You can really be, anywhere on the spectrum, because anyone, just like us here, everyone in the audience can be stressed out, and this is something is considered mental health maintenance and well-being. So that taboo has been more of a barrier for everything else, and the lack of accessibility was also another thing that added to why mental health is not something that people think of positively. Thank you so much.
We love you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's great. Perfect timing.
We're going to be here all afternoon now. We're not moving.
And add to that the affordability aspect, right? Because it's really not affordable. Counseling and well-being tools are not something typically covered through insurance, and that's what we try to do through Takalam, is to bring that kind of accessibility and awareness, that bringing it in a different position that is more of a proactive, preventative way to look after your health, because really a lot of the physical diseases and illnesses, the chronic diseases, really start from stress and really start from a lot of psychological issues. So having that kind of conversation open and educating the community about it was a big part of what we do at Takalam, and then giving the access obviously privately to manage the stigma part through a platform that not only will support you in connecting with someone who's culturally relevant to you, because that's another thing, right? Like the chemistry and the connection between the therapist and the person is really crucial for the whole journey. So having that cultural diversity scarcity also is another thing. And on top of that, making it more affordable by having it digitally available. So it's been like, of an exciting journey. And now, as you see, like the region has been heading in this direction, looking at mental health. Look what we're talking about today, the wellness sector. So it's really the future, looking at prevention and looking at healthcare in a whole different dimension.
You made some really interesting points there. I think you're right that when people hear mental wellness or mental health, they immediately go to the most extreme, and they don't think that actually incorporates stress, it incorporates sadness, things that happen to absolutely everybody. You also brought up accessibility. I have not prepared you for this question, but I'm quite interested in your thoughts on accessibility. Because you mentioned that you're trying to do more in the kind of social media and to connect one-on-one with patients. Is that because you feel like in the more formal sense, it's not accessible enough for everybody?
Maybe it's accessible, but the thing is the stigma. We have a big thing with the stigma in the Middle East, especially with men. Men are suffering very much in silence. They cannot complain. They cannot say, I'm suffering from fear or I'm in pain. This is very limited for men. And they are raised up to be strong. And they thought that strength is being not to talk, just be silent, just tolerate everything, just not show. When a man is like a husband or a family man, he cannot say that I'm complaining of pain or I'm afraid of insect. This is very important. So we have a big issue with the stigma. And we almost talk about mental health in the way you just mentioned, like it's something in psychosis or someone lost his mind or something like this. Actually, it's just expressing our emotions, just connected to our emotions, feeling our emotions, feeling our body, listening to our body. This is the mental health. This is wellness. And this is what we need today.
Yeah. So in your profession, I mean, you see firsthand, because you're talking directly to people, right, as a doctor. So you really see firsthand the impact that all of this has on an individual. And a lot of the signs of somebody struggling are often not known to their loved ones or the people around them. People don't know what to look out for. So what are your thoughts on how individuals can be more aware of the signs of things like silent depression, and not just in other people, but even in yourself?
Actually, silent depression is very common, especially in our countries. Silent depression means we have all the figures, all the things about depression, from the loss of interest, from the body aches, from problems in the sleeping and pattern of the food, excessive eating, binge eating, emotional eating. These all are signs for the silent depression. The thing is, the person is working normally. He's functioning normally in his life, or maybe extra nice in his life. He's almost, we call it smiling depression. The person is sometimes people pleaser. He's trying to please everyone. He's smiling everywhere. He's being more positive, toxic positivity, which is very common nowadays, just to show he's all right. The thing is, he's suffering deep inside, and he cannot express himself. He cannot say, I'm suffering. And sometimes he don't know even that he is suffering. He's suffering without knowing this. We almost do suppression. We suppress our emotions. By time we go to denial. We deny that we have stress. We are having any troubles or any struggles in our life, any challenges. We forget about it by the daily life, by the day to day. That's why we need to be more connected to ourselves. If we need to know if we are suffering from silent depression or not, mainly it's the physical. The physical part is sometimes, as you just said, the psychosomatic. It's some physical pain without any physical cause. Sometimes it is the sleep pattern, either excessive sleep or insomnia. He's suffering from insomnia, cannot sleep well. Other thing is the food. He can have emotional eating, that he craving starch and sugar very much, and sometimes he's having loss of appetite. The other thing is the people pleasing or excessive working or addiction to something like shopping, like workaholic. All of these things are part of the silent depression.
I mean, those are really common things. I think I need to speak to quite a few of my friends. No, but that's incredibly interesting. I mean, you guys have both brought it up on all of your answers so far. Is this this kind of stigma as well, like people not wanting to bring this up? I mean, we're here. This is a Forbes event. We're obviously very business minded. How do you guys think that companies, businesses, organizations can do more to help lift that stigma and kind of give people permission to feel their feelings and speak up?
Sure.
Thank you. I mean, it's one of the ways that we've been able to raise awareness in our community by working closely with businesses, right? Because through them you're able to change that mindset and help people understand a lot of things even within their work environment that could be added. Like, for example, we here in our culture, we lack boundaries. We didn't grow up looking at boundaries as a way of, like, protecting yourself emotionally and mentally, but it is something that is very much helpful for individuals to look at, but in the culture itself, it's perceived as being rude, for example, So setting boundaries, knowing when to stop, knowing when to say no, it's okay to say no, and, not being, like you said, people pleasing. So there is a lot of concepts in the organizations and work environment that we can change through working with the employers by, through workshops, through offering them that one-to-one coaching and consultations, because it's not necessarily against someone who is struggling to go and seek support. It can be for personal growth. It can be to really explore yourself and understand where you're at and how to improve yourself. So we've done that with a lot of businesses, government, private, and it's a great way to change the mindset for also the employers that these are ways you retain your talent. If you look at their well-being, these are ways you engage with them, because I mean, what will differentiate you from being against a competitor through the talent, right? So retaining that talent by allowing them, because like some companies around the world, they have a mental health day off, So these are new concepts to us. Still, it takes a lot of time to build and kind of implement, but we are starting, and it's great to see this is happening here in the UAE in specific.
So just on that point, sorry, just before we come to you, just on that point, I read the other day, and I have not fact-checked this, and I can't remember my source, so please don't quote me, but I definitely read the other day that there are some companies in China that are considering offering an extra 10 days that people can take off. They're calling them like sad days. So people, if they're feeling just really not able to go to work that day.
Yeah.
I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, that's the way it should be, right? And this is how you gain loyalty of these, individuals and your employees, because we all have bad days. And if I am not physically and mentally able to give, my productivity is very low. So it's really not beneficial for even my employer to go and show up. So by giving that, absolutely, it's a great way to enhance the retention and engagement.
Yeah, and it stops people using their sick days for
Exactly.
incorrectly as well. So sorry, Dr. Moustafa, over to you. What are your thoughts on how businesses and organizations?
This is great, in fact. Actually, we need to value our mental and well-being value. I mean, we need to value because it's just like the physical ability. It's the more like the emotional ability. We need both. I mean, if you have someone who's mentally ill or mentally disabled, he cannot work, or even emotionally disabled, he cannot perform his work in a good way. That's why we need to value this and give it a good care and good attention for this. Maybe some people are suffering from overthinking just for all the time, and it's part of the silent depression as well, just to put it aside moreover. But I think just letting out things, just speaking up, talking about what you are going on, what you are feeling is a big treatment, is a very important thing.
Yeah. I think we probably all have at least one symptom of silent depression. But I think talking is just, it's so important, and speaking to your friends and loved ones or strangers, if that's better. Last kind of proper question before, I think I might see if the audience have a question, because it's mental health. But what would like a key tip or a key piece of advice for someone today who's listened to your thoughts and thought, oh, do you know what, I need to take a step? What would be the key tip or advice that you would like them to go away with?
I mean, for me, I know this is cliche, but it's okay to not be okay. And one thing that personally worked with me when I am stressed out or when I am overwhelmed is actually writing down my thoughts. Journaling is really underrated, and it's something that helps a lot, and it's scientifically proven that maintaining a journal really improves your well-being and emotional balance. And hence we also introduced a journaling feature on our platform, because this is the way you maintain your well-being, and you will have data and analytics that will provide you insights. Okay, I was sad on this day because of this. So you'll be able also to understand your triggers and how to manage them, right? So journaling is one thing that I would really advise people to, to start looking into.
Wonderful, thank you.
Actually, mental well-being is just baby steps. Writing is a fundamental. Writing is very important. Working out, having some sports, just walking, just exposed to the weather, not this weather of course, but I mean to the nature is very helpful. Just to speak, to have some connections with your friends, some supportive friends, some supportive connections, some supportive relationships around you. All of this helps very much. The most important thing is to know what are you going through, what are you feeling, that's it.
Fantastic, thank you. Does anyone have any questions regarding mental wellness or routines? No, we're all very, very mentally sound. Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much, guys. That was so interesting.
Thank you so much. Thank you.